All right, let's see if they have another IV one here. Okay, look at this one. What does this one say? What's it say? What's it tell you to do?
I can't say it. It's got this meeting. It's being recorded.
You gotta move it on your screen. I can't move it on mine. I don't have control of your screen.
All right, got it. Never mind. Thanks.
It says gentamicin sulfate 80 milligrams in 100.
Stop it, nurse.
Is drops per minute? Is asking how many drops per minute?
Oh, that's what you're asking for. Oh, the drops per minute. So
the nurse sets the flow rate at how many drops per minute. Now, what is your formula for drops per minute?
Volume over time plus total volume over time times the drop factor.
Okay, total volume over total time in minutes times the drop factor, always a whole number. That's what should be your formula. And that's how you should say it. Because as long as you say it like that, you shouldn't get it wrong. Volume is always going to have what behind it? ml. So if you see milligrams, leave it alone. Okay, so here your problem should be set up how? 100 divided by 30 times 10.
33.
Is everybody able to get that?
Yes.
The only thing different they do here is they multiply the drop factor first. I don't do that. Gives you a big number. I don't like working with big numbers. You too much room for error. So I just keep it small as I can. Doesn't matter where you multiply the drop factor in anyway. You can do it then or at the end. It's still going to be the same answer. Here's another one. What's the question asking you?
Drops per minute.
Drops per minute. So that right away tells you three things, right?
Yes.
Total volume, total time in minutes, the drop factor, always a whole number. What'd you get?
25.
Anybody still working?
25.
25.
Okay, now let's just look at this question here because this is a good example. So we have 50 mLs. Let's take that 50 mLs. Let's go to our whiteboard.
Oh.
I have 50 mLs. Okay, and I'm going to give it over 30 minutes. What would I set the pump to on mLs per hour?
Would that be 100?
Okay, so again, the calculation I would do for this would be 50 divided by 30 times 60. I also know that this is equal to 0.5. So I could just eliminate this and do 50 divided by 0.5. Because I know that 30 is 0.5 or half of an hour. However, the easy way, because you don't always have that 30, what if I said 48 minutes? Now you're going to divide it by 60 and come up with some weird ass decimal to put here. Right? Or I could just put 48 here and multiply the whole thing times 60. And I'm still going to get the same answer. The idea is when you're doing mLs per hour, if your time is in minutes, you have to convert it. How are you going to convert it? What works for you? What will you remember when you get to the test? Because if you don't remember it when you get to the test, that is no good. All right, this one's asking you what?
I'm seeing the whiteboard. Okay, per hour.
Is it asking you per hour? What's it say?
The nurse determines that it will take how many hours for 1 liter? I'm sorry, how many hours it will take?
Okay, so for this one, if they want to know how many hours, then your formula is what? Volume divided by rate, right? Because you need your total volume, which for this question is 1,000 mLs. And then you have to divide that by how many mLs it's running per hour. And that will tell you how long it's going to run for.
Is it the 8 hours? I don't know.
Correct. 1,000
Oh.
divided by 125 equals 8. Everybody good with that one?
So, oh, it's still the same desirable half.
Yes.
That's in return. Okay.
Okay, volume over rate there. Now, again, what is this one asking you?
Drops per minute.
Drops per minute. And that's where my eyes go right too. I don't even look at that other BS up in the top. Then when I figure out what formula I need, so I know this is drops per minute, so I have to take my total volume, which is what?
250 mLs.
Over my time, which is what?
240.
Oh,
I
okay,
can break it
240.
down.
Why? Explain why, nurse, because somebody may not have gotten that.
Because you're changing it into minutes because it's asking you for drops in minutes.
Okay, so you went ahead and took your 4 hours, multiplied it by 60, and converted that to 240,
Yes,
and then your drop factor.
yes,
So your problem should be set up 250 divided by 240 times 10. And really, you can eliminate the 0 there and just do 25 divided by 24 if you want to work with smaller numbers, if you want to make it easier. Okay, you know 24 going to 25 one time, so that answer should be 1 point something times your 10. Is it?
yes, and then the answer is 10.
So I'm just doing little simple tricks to see if I'm doing my math right. So what'd you get?
10?
10.41, but it's 10, right?
Correct. Because it always has to be what?
A whole number.
Whole number.
A
A
whole
whole
number.
number. That's part of the formula. I add that in as part of the formula so I don't forget. It always has to be a whole number because I will mark this wrong if I don't put that on there and you don't round it. Because I expect you to know that it's a nursing rule. But I mean, most of the time I get it on there to round it to the nearest whole number, but we shouldn't have to tell you that because it's part of the rule. All right, look at this one. Now, what's the question say? What's it say? Somebody read it.
It's asking for units per hour.
What? Read the statement. What's the statement say?
The nurse sets the infusion pump at how many milliliters per hour to deliver 8 units an hour?
Okay, so if you're setting the pump to deliver the 8 units per hour, that must be your dose, right? Because you're not going to deliver anything else other than the ordered dose, right?
Right.
So that tells you this is a desired over half.
Yes.
Okay, this is what I need you to see when you read those statements at the end of the question. Okay, so if it's desired over to have, what is your desired dose?
The 8 units.
And what do you have on hand?
100 milliliters. There's 100 units
100, just 100 units?
of regular insulin in 100 milliliter saline.
It's 100 units per 100 ml.
Per,
You have to be
okay.
able to see that.
Yeah.
Okay, what does that mean? every ml is equal to 1 unit.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm supposed to deliver 8 units per hour and every ml is equal to 1 unit, I don't even need a calculator here, right?
Yeah, it's 8 hours.
Right. But do the math and make sure it comes out right.
Yeah.
So 8 divided by 100 times 100, what'd you get?
8.
Wasn't this on the test yesterday?
Probably.
I don't
You
remember.
guys don't use your Saunders book, so you wouldn't know that, huh?
It was on the test yesterday.
I
Oh,
use
it's in
Saunders.
Saunders.
Because we take math from everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't write those questions. Every question you see on that math test comes from another math test somewhere.
Where's my Saunders book?
Exactly. Where's your Bible? That book should be
Right
worn
here,
through by
sitting
now.
Absolutely. So Miss L, so anytime there's like a problem that normally if it says prescription reads, it's pretty much going to be a physician order divided by dose on hand. Is that a
A
clue?
lot of times. So don't read a prescription reads. Don't read it from there.
Right.
You need to read it from the bottom because the bottom is what's asking you how to set it up or telling you how to set it up.
Right. But you still have to follow what the order is as well. Does that help?
Well, you
Okay.
you have to understand what the question is telling you to do because when you read what the question's telling you to do, then you could go back and read your question and say, okay, what do I really need out of this?
Okay. All right.
You do have to still read the question. I don't want you to not read the question, but the problem is you guys get so caught up in the top that you don't even hear what the question's asking you. And so
Right.
by the time you get to that point, you have no idea how to set it up. And now you're already frustrated and the mind's just spinning like shit. I don't remember how.
That's me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Read it all the time.
That's right. Yep.
Again,
So,
this
Ms.
question
Rose,
reads
can I
the
ask you a
same thing. It
question?
doesn't matter if it's reconstitution or regular prescription, whatever. What's this question saying at the very end?
Much you're going to administer.
Administer 1 dose.
Asking about a dose. And if it's
Yes.
a dose, it's always
Dose
desired
of
over out,
physician.
right?
Yes.
So when you talk about reconstitution, all you're doing is adding fluid to a powder or adding fluid to a suspension. However, when you add that fluid, it can change the concentration of that suspension. So you have to know what are you left with on hand once you reconstitute it. And in this case, it tells you, okay, that you have 1,000 milligrams and 7.4 mLs after reconstitution. So that's what you have on hand. So your desired dose is what?
125.
And what you have on hand is 1,000 milligrams and 7.4.
Right, divided
So what's
by
your answer here?
0.925.
7.4.
Exactly.
0.925. Yep. Could be.
So, Miss Sue, I have a question. Because I know everybody yesterday with that problem that you worked out earlier. With the 300 and everybody whole thought process went to, oh my God, that's such a big number. Is there a big, what would you consider a big number based on the question that everybody was just like, the takeaway yesterday from majority of us was just like 300 was too much of a number for 60 minutes, for 20 minutes.
Why, you don't ever give a bolus of 300 or 500?
Well, I don't do IV my day to day. I'm just saying. So maybe that's why I'm not like yesterday became alarming because I changed my answer. I worked it out and got 300. However, I changed it to say, well, oh no, that's too big of a number. And when talking to other people in the class, their takeaway was the same thought process that I had.
That's because you
300
guys don't understand how to calculate the math. And you're
Mhm.
unsure that you calculated it right.
I just was unsure of the dosage. I got it right, but I didn't know nothing about the bolus. or
right.
anything. I just calculated it based on what I saw. Just calculated it based on the formula and just put what I
Right.
got.
I
The
think
thing
part
is,
of the
if someone's
problem.
in severe dehydration, if they've
Right.
got multiple burns, if they've lost multiple amounts of fluid, you may be giving them a large amount of fluid. You might not be giving it that quickly in a bolus, but you may give it over an hour.
Right, but I think what the problem yesterday, the one that we're talking about, that 100 divided by 20, oh, I'll see that much sleep times 60. And I think the problem is, I know that's what messes my head sometimes, that it may be silly, but when do you multiply by 60 or don't you multiply by 60?
Well, if you're going to mLs per hour and your time is in minutes, whether you're doing
Well,
weight
yeah,
training,
yeah,
a pump, whatever, at some point, you are going to have to convert those minutes over to an hourly format.
and so that's
What is
times
your
60.
problem going to end up in?
Right, hours for hours.
So how are you going to get those minutes over to an hourly format?
We have to multiply by 60.
Exactly.
Yeah, well,
So
that's
if your
what
problem is ending up in mLs per hour and your time is in minutes, somewhere you're going to have to convert.
right. And that was what really threw me off, is that question was a simple, and we all agreed it was so simple.
Yep.
And it compared to the person's weight, then you convert their weight, and then you convert to micrograms and milligrams, and then you times it by this and times it by that and divide. Have no problem doing those. It's just when we come from these little questions is what really threw me off. I didn't know. Should
I
I
think you
do,
guys
should I?
just overthought the question, and that's what happens sometimes.
Right,
when-
because I did it. I did have 300.
Some
And that was,
questions that are more complex than simpler, sometimes you overthink it. It happens to me too sometimes. I look at a question, I'm like, shit, how do I calculate this?
wow, it happens to you? That means
It
that
does.
we're on the
Yesterday,
genius
actually, I
level.
did a math question for Surge Geri on the tutoring yesterday, and I left the step out, multiplying the weight times the desired dose. So I messed the whole question up because I skipped that step. So yes, it happens to everyone. All right.
Okay.
Even
Yeah.
people, like, I had to do a lot of math practice. I had to go through a lot of practice of doing the questions and stuff before I could even start breaking some of them down in class, especially like the OB and PEDS math. Like, I had to relearn all of that because it's not something I do on a routine basis.
Oh, God, the OB and.
You know, I haven't been on a med cart. Well, the last time I was on a med cart was at the site place that you're going to. And that was an absolute nightmare because on the day in question, first of all, I watch med passes. This is what I do on a routine basis. I evaluate people that are doing them. And so when I got onto the cart, there was multiple items missing, expired, just wrong. And I have this whole long list. And of course, the DON comes up to the floor and she's like, is anything, how's the cart? Because the Department of Health is about to come. And I said, your cart is a mess. And here's my list of stuff.
Oh.
Like, I had a guy with a pulse ox of 64%. He has literally no parameters.
Oh my God.
And they're like, oh yeah, we just let him sit here when he's like that. He's, this is how he stays. Like, there's no parameters to send the guy out. The majority of them are never checked for, you can tell, like, just too many of them said, like, why are you checking my blood pressure? I'm like, is you getting blood pressure meds? And they're like, nobody does that. I'm just like, I can't.
Well, Miss Sue, you know when you on the floor and you do the right things, because everybody look at you like, well, I've never applied that cream. I've never done that blood pressure. They'll be like, oh, but it's in the computer and everybody's signing it off.
Yeah. I know because of past experience, because in home care, like when you out and work home care, that's why they shouldn't put new nurses out there. Because you go into home care and you look at the orders, it's atrocious the way the orders are taken off. And I went into a little girl's house. She's got a seizure disorder. I literally spent 2 years looking for oxygen in that home that they claimed that every nurse was signing off on. Okay, that was not in that home.
All day long.
I went through supervisors and everything else. Like, for me, if I'm in the home and something's not there, they're going to bring it right now. Oh, they're going to bring it.
I had a situation in home care just last week. There was a new order for a new sliding scale, and the nurse called me. She's like, okay, this is the new sliding scale that the son said the doctor said to. I'm like, did you talk to the doctor? I said, can you call the doctor? We will have this 3-way because I need to hear it for myself from the doctor. So yeah, it happens a lot.
But they won't. A lot of them will go to the doctor with the child and don't even take the orders off when they come back.
Wow.
They don't. And it's just, I did the home audits. Like, at the end, they were paying me 50, 60 an hour to do audits for chat because this is what I do all day. You can't fake me out on a med pass or on something else because I write the policies, I do the preparation classes, I evaluate people. If you're fluffing, I'm going to know you're fluffing. Just like Department of Health is going to know, because this is all we do is watch people. Just like when you come into the school out of uniform. If something's out of place on your uniform, my eyes are going to go right to it because they're trained.
Yes. Real quick, she did it to me.
They're just trained that way. Like once I train my brain,
We know.
it's just, that's what it does.
Miss Sue, that's why we gonna bug you to the end. You didn't want nobody, I don't care, but bug you to the end.
One time I was coming in the building, she's like, "Where's your shoes, Mama?" I'm like, "It's in the car. I'm going right back right now." I just walked in. She's like, "Where's your shoes, Mama?"
But Miss Sue, what you just described, that's what I was laughing because Shantae was saying that's my day to day. What you just described is my entire day to day. Everybody just like, they just do it. They have this whatever attitude. And because I see things from afar to say, well, it's not supposed to be that way. Oh, I get the pushback and the fight that I get in my day to day is crazy. Because I'm like, it's not supposed to be this way. It's supposed to be signed. You open it, put the date on there.
Right.
We need a parameter for the blood pressure. Call the doctor. So when I do things like that, they make it look like I'm the crazy person. So I'm just laughing right now because my day to day is what you just described.
Well, you just keep being the crazy person because at the end of the day, it will pay off. Here's the thing. A lot of employers are complaining, and this is why they're changing the exams over to the next gen. But here's going to be the problem. Like, you're going to change the exams over and the nurses are getting better knowledge, but if they're not applying that knowledge when they go out on the floor,
yeah,
it doesn't matter. And this is what they don't do. They don't want to take the time. It's like an inconvenience to them to take a blood pressure, an inconvenience to do something for a client.
Yeah.
I'm just so tired of it all. Like, that's one of the reasons why I came into education, because I don't want people like that taking care of me. And if I don't want you taking care of me, I don't want you touching my clients either.
Right. It's sad. Healthcare is not the same way no more, though. It was bad, but I think after COVID, it ruins it altogether. I think, in my perspective,
COVID definitely messed it up. Okay. The thing is, the people that deserve to get that high pay of COVID are probably not the ones who got it.
Of course not.
I barely got any increments, and I tested thousands of people every week. I had to bag bodies and everything else because I didn't want my people doing it. I don't want you working on the floor with somebody that you worked in and day out, and now they died from COVID. You felt like you tried to do everything and you can't save them. That makes nurses feel a certain kind of way. And now I got to bag them up and then go back to work like it's nothing.
Right.
It's not how you treat people.
Well, that's
right.
the best
Amen.
college has, Miss Sue.
I just can't. I don't know. It just irritates me. That's one of the reasons why I left the state, because, the CEO at the state wanted me to falsify documentation. And I'm like, absolutely not. I will not falsify anything.
Right.
So I had to leave my job because they were trying to blackball me. I just left. Me and the DON. What does it say when your head two nurses step down?
Step down. That's true.
And the people
Ethics,
that stay are
because you function on ethics
and don't care. And they'll do whatever because, that's the real suck up. You're not the suck up for doing the right thing. The ones who will do the wrong thing and suck up, that's the real suck up.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's the difference when you practice on ethics compared to people who just don't care. Like, they'll just throw a blood pressure in the machine and guess a blood pressure instead of actually go taking a blood pressure.
Well, and when you ask people what integrity is, most of them can't even tell me. They don't even have a clue. Okay. They don't have any idea what it means. It's not just ethics. You have to be able to do the right thing, whether somebody's looking or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you can't do that, then you're in the wrong profession because, what does that say about you?
Right.
All right, so how are we with these ones? You guys can see the Word document on the screen now? Or you still see Saunders?
Saunders.
All right, let's switch over to these ones now. And then I want to at least have time to show you guys a little bit of something about the insulin needles, okay? Because I know those were on your, did you guys get insulin needles on your psych or no?
No,
It was just the one with the ML, so then we don't have to look at that.
good.
You guys already took med search, so you skated past that. All right, you're good. How are you guys with these ones?
We're good. I'm okay with those.
Hold on, the one with the patient heparin is infusing at 28 milliliters infusion pump. I'm confused with that one.
Okay, so let's look at that one, okay? So it's asking you the hourly dose of heparin. So it's looking for how many units that the client is getting here, okay? So in order to do this, you have to determine how many units are in each ml first. So you have 20,000 units in 500. So you're just going to take your 20,000 and divide it by 500, and that will tell you how many units are in each ml.
Oh. Okay.
So you have 40 units in each ml, and if you're given 28 mLs, then you take your 40 and multiply that times your 28. And you are giving 1,120 units per hour, which is a number for heparin. So like heparin and penicillin, you're going to see big numbers. Remember we just did that penicillin question? Or you might have even seen one on your psych exam. That was like 300,000 over 400,000. It was penicillin.
Okay. Yeah, that one had me confused. I would have definitely got that wrong.
All right, so do the next one and see if you can get it right.
All right,
Next
hold on.
one's the same type of problem.
Okay, so the 25,000 divided by the 250, and then times that by the 11, 1,100.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
All right, now look at the next one. The next one's just a desired over half here. The only difference with this is your desired dose is based on your patient's weight. That's all. So you don't know what the desired dose is until you take the weight, convert it, and multiply it by what's ordered. So 172 divided by 2.2 times 18, right, is going to tell you your desired dose. Leave the whole thing in the calculator. So your desired dose is 1,407.27 infinity, right? Take that whole number and put it over what you have on hand. So you're going to divide that by your 25,000 and then multiply it by your 500.
29, would you round this up?
Hold on,
What's
Miss
it
Sue.
say?
Hold on, Miss Sue. Once you break down the 172, once you get the answer, don't you times that by the 18?
Correct. That's what I said.
Oh, okay. I'm
Take
sorry.
172 divided by 2.2.
Uh-huh.
Let me put it on the board for you.
That's what I missed.
Yeah.
I'm good at this one now. I mean, Miss Sue had to
28.2.
drill this in my head last term. I'm good at this one.
Yeah, this don't bother me. I get these. It's
Oh, that one
it's the simple
terrified
ones.
me.
It's the simple ones. Like yesterday's simple ones.
Because I used to miss a step. So now
Okay, so that was your 78.18 infinity, and then we're going to multiply that times our 18. And that gave us the 1,407.27. And this is units per hour, guys.
okay.
Leave that whole thing in the calculator, and then you're dividing it. What do we have? 25,000?
Yeah. Times the 500. 28.1.
Okay, and then your answer would be 28.1. Most of the time with these, I'll have you either leave it at that or I'll have you round it to a whole number. I'll tell you that in the sentence. So like on a question like this, okay, if I didn't tell you to either round it to the nearest tenth or make it a whole number, I will give you credit for both answers.
Okay.
Okay.
Usually though, I'll tell you to do one or the other. Okay, here's another one with the same way. So for those of you that have any difficulty, go ahead and try it.
$28.8. Hello?
Yep, that's what I got, 28.8. Sorry, I was still doing the math. I probably started after you.
Okay. I found the easiest one. No, that's okay. Never mind.
Okay, how about the next one?
Hold on, this is the one that got me the last time. Your patient is heparin drip running 36 minutes. Yeah, this is the one that got me. Hold on. Yeah, I don't know how to do this one. I don't remember how.
Yes, you do, Mama. Remember what you have to do. You have to determine how many units in each ml, remember?
Yes.
So is it
What
that
do you got to do to determine that?
you divide the 12,500 by 36?
By the 250, right?
By the two, oh, okay.
Mhm. Okay.
12,500 divided by 250 is what?
Divided by 250 is 50. Then
So
I
there's
times it.
50 units in each ml, and you're giving 36 mLs.
Mhm.
So now you're going to take your 50 and do what?
Times it by the 36.
Right. Do the
That's
next one
80.
too.
Okay.
So Miss Sue, it's never the ml per hour you divide, it's always the volume.
For this one here, yes, because you have to calculate how many units per ml.
Okay.
Because you already know that it's running at, you already know what the mLs per hour are, gives you that here.
Okay.
So this would be like, let's say you come in off the floor and you have an order for something,
Mhm.
and you're supposed to be given 1,800 units an hour. And you want to make sure that the pump is delivering that. So you would go in and you would look at what the bag reads and look at what the pump is running at in the rate. And you could do the math here and determine, oh yes, they're getting 1,800 units per hour. We're good. Otherwise, you're just taking their word for it.
Okay.
Okay. I got
That's
it.
never good. Because we
No.
know biatches lie. Right? You've been gone for 3 weeks. You come back, the dressing change still has your initials and your date on it.
Oh God.
You're like, yeah, I changed it every day. 3 times a day.
Yes, that is the truth.
All right, so that one is 2,900. I got it.
Okay, so you should have got 1,800 for the first one, 2,900 for the second one.
Yes, I got
Mhm.
it now. Okay, that's
Okay, and now you're back to the weight-based one.
All right. What is it?
I'm good at these ones. I got these ones now. It took me 3 months, but I got them.
I do
Okay. Any other ones you guys need to go over?
Can you just give me one more weight base again, please?
The ones you're gonna put on the
You
test.
could do that one, Miss Sue, the profanol, the micromilligrams.
So for these ones, okay, this is asking for an infusion rate. So you have to calculate mLs per hour here because it's on a pump. Okay, we only use a drip rate if we're using what?
Volume.
Gravity, a dial of flow.
Right, right.
Okay, the drip rate is for when you don't have electricity or if you don't have a pump. Somebody might be doing it at home and they don't have a pump. So we're going to calculate a drip rate.
Ah, my God.
Here you have a pump. So on a pump, you're going to calculate mLs per hour. All right, so we start with the weight. Let's do well, there's no number on it. We're going to do the one that says propofol. So take out of this question before I go to the whiteboard your weight, which is 198, and it's in pounds. Your order, which is 10 micrograms per kilogram per minute. And what you have on hand is 250 and 250. So I always start with my weight. I keep everything in the calculator. 198 divided by 2.2.
Cause 90.
Okay, so we got 90 kilograms. We're going to multiply that times our ordered dose, which is 10 micrograms.
That'll give you 900.
So now we have 900 micrograms per minute. We have to get to mLs per hour. And what we have on hand is 250 milligrams per 250 ml. Okay, I can divide this by 1,000 and that will put my micrograms into milligrams.
0.9.
0.9.
So now we have 0.9 milligrams per minute.
Times 60.
Okay, now I don't usually
yeah.
do this math, but you know the reason why we're doing this is because this has to be multiplied by 60 to
Mhm.
convert it to an hour. We are
Yep.
going to multiply this number times 60, and that should have gave you 54.
54.
Okay, and then it's milligrams per hour. Milligrams is going to cross out. You're going to be left with mLs per hour. Okay, and then of course 250 divided by 250. So it should end up with 54 mLs per hour.
That's what
Yep.
I got. Yep.
Finally got it.
Let's try another one and see if you can keep getting it. Okay.
Got
So
it.
do the
Okay.
next one, the nitroprusside.
Which one?
This one right here.
Where? Oh, the night bride. Okay.
Everybody got their numbers?
Yes. Ms. Sue,
Yes.
215 divided by 2.2 is 97.727272. Where'd you
Okay,
get
let's
Yeah.
see why mine gave me something different. I probably put the wrong number in. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love it when you guys see my arrows. That means you're learning. And you realize that I'm human too. I make mistakes just like you guys do. So again, I always double check my math because that is the perfect reason why. Might probably help if I put my glasses on. Although there's no guarantee with that. All right, so and then what do we have on hand? 200 and 250?
Yes.
It's a 36.6 or 37.
So I would tell you there at that point whether I wanted you to round it to the nearest tenth or the nearest whole number. But if you got
Okay.
to 36.64, then you did it right.
Yippee. Yahoo.
Everybody else good with that one?
Yeehaw.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's try one more on your own for those. Any other ones that you need practice with?
Can you do one more of those time ones? The ones we did in the beginning? Like, just so I can see the actual whole, different problem, like the whole problem. I had that other one memorized, that 500 to the 100 mLs. Just so I can see another one.
All right, so all these ones you guys are good with then, right? You just want to see the time one.
Yes.
Okay.
Are these gonna be similar to what you're gonna put on Jerry, Miss Sue?
Yep.
Okay.
What you've seen is the same thing you're going to continue to see.
Okay,
I need to get 100 for Jerry.
me too.
I got it for sec. I need it for Jerry. I can't do this.
Yeah.
Can't do it again. Nope. Go away.
Just trying to find another one of those questions.
Miss Sue, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What was the reason that they only throw back 1 point for the psych after the review and we came across 4 that was wrong?
Well, they don't always give me a rationale. However, if they determine those questions were right, but I only saw one question come across, and that was number question 82. So I am going to follow up with Miss Lana this week to see if there were other questions in there that should have been evaluated as well.
Miss Lana screenshot them and gave them to Miss Butts. So Miss Butts told us that she was gonna give you all
Yeah.
4, figure it out, and we didn't see
Yeah, because
anything.
we all were in the book on that day and we were finding the answers right then and there. We even marked the chapters and stuff. Well, some of us did, and showed them like, no, this is the answer right here, right in the book. So
Miss Sue, we need all our points.
I definitely need it.
I will reach out to Miss Lana and see if she can send me those questions. All right, here's another one of those questions right here. Can you see the screen or you see the whiteboard still?
We've seen the,
You see your pink hair?
Okay, so let's see. Somebody just shoot me a text tomorrow and remind me to reach to Miss Lana because she's out right now with the family and I don't want to disturb her, but I will ask her tomorrow to send me those so that I can look at the additional questions.
Okay.
All right, you guys see the question now?
Yes, we can see it.
So you're calculating the pump in mLs per hour. The problem is your time is in what?
Minutes.
So you either have to convert that time to hours or you have to multiply the answer by 60. Again, 120 minutes is 2 hours. So you could have just converted that to 2 hours and took 1,000 and divided it by 2. Or you could have took 1,000 divided it by 120 and multiplied by 60. And what do you get?
$500.
500,000.
Same answer, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
That one was the easier.
Yeah.
Well, let me see if I can find the other one. I'm not sure. That might be on my med search test. Let me look. Hey, how about this one? You have to calculate the IV flow rate and the piggyback. Let's see if you can do it on your own.
I can't get it.
Okay, let's look at
Is
them.
it 276.92, top one?
For the first one.
And then 133 for the second one?
So the second one should have been 100 divided by 45 times
Right.
60,
Right.
I did mine, yeah.
Did I get that right?
133.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay.
Okay, so it was two different ways to do it, right? Because the first one, it was already in hours for you.
Because again, you know where my focus went, Miss Loesch, for the 8 hours. Then I realized, well, the 8 hours doesn't matter because they're already, you're talking about the 100 ml.
Right.
Yeah, that one was more similar to the one that we had, but it just looks different. Instead of say having the 500 milligrams slash 100 mLs in the 8 hours. Yeah, the fluff kind of threw me off for a second. Then I had to get back in there like, oh, wait a minute, the mLs. So I just kind of disregarded the other stuff.
Okay, good. So the first one should have been set up like this. And the second one I would have set up like this. And reason being because this is in minutes, so I have to convert. This is in hours. It's okay. That's what I have to remember because ultimately my answer has to end up in mLs per hour. So this has to go. Okay?
Okay.
We good with that one?
Yes.
Don't put it on a test.
It's
Oh
gonna
my
be on the
gosh, I don't
test.
like that laugh.
Yeah, it's going to be on the test because you have to be able to calculate that, unfortunately. All right. This
Yes,
one
no, I'm
is not
trying
going
to
to be on your
graduate
test,
well.
but you will have to calculate time on a test from IV and mLs per hour to mLs per minute, from minutes to hours. You will have to do that conversion. You have to be able to know how to do that.
We're gonna leave Jersey College as doctors instead of nurses.
No, actually, I have a couple doctors that came here from other countries and they can't do this math either.
Oh my God.
So
Yeah,
Miss
because they
L,
don't listen, because they try to round when I tell them not to. They put zeros where I tell them not to. And if you argue with me, I'm just going to be like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you because on my watch, you're not killing anybody.
Thanks. Yeah.
You never
Miss
know
L-
when you're going to have electric.
so Miss L, that top one, if that, see where it says it's the lactated one, the fusion
Uh-huh.
18. So if that said, lactated ringer is 1800 milliliters over 6.5 hours with a drip factor of 10. Now, that would have been different.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
That would have been
But it would have
converted
asked
to
you for a
minutes.
drip rate, not a pump rate in mLs per hour.
Okay.
It would have asked you for a drip rate in minutes,
Right. Okay.
not a pump rate in mLs per hour. That's the difference.
Okay.
All
Well,
right. So what is the question ultimately wanting you to get to?
How much per hour?
So for this one, it's asking you for mLs per hour, but on a drop
Right.
factor, it's asking you drops per minute. Why do
Per
you think
minute.
it's asking you that? Why do you think you need to be able to calculate the drops per minute?
So you can put it in the pump.
There is no pump in drops per minute.
Oh shit. Oh my
It runs off of gravity.
gravity. Okay.
So why do you think you have to know how many drops per minute?
So you could deliver the right dose.
So back in the day, we didn't have IV pumps for
No.
everything.
We didn't.
Okay.
Right.
And we still don't. Out in the home care environment, a lot of times you don't have an IV. You have a gravity roller dial.
That's true. Because
Okay, so some of the roller dials you can set the rate to 150 mLs on the roller dial. But if it was just a straight gravity drip, what you would do is you would calculate the number of drops. And let's say your drops were 1,052 an hour. That would equal the same as like your 15 mLs an hour or whatever your pump was supposed to be set to. So the amount of drops that you're giving actually could end up being converted into mLs per hour. But because you don't have a pump, you can't set it in mLs per hour because you don't have that type of equipment. So when you set the amount of drops, you're actually setting the mLs per hour by calculating the appropriate amount of drops. When you don't have a pump, that's how you have to calculate it. When you don't have electric, that's how you had to calculate it. When we had Hurricane Sandy, that's how we had to calculate it. Everything by hand. These people, we got the overflow of the people that weren't critical enough to be in the hospital because the hospital couldn't take everybody. So for 3 days, we had no power for these patients. Everything had to be calculated by hand. You never know when you're going to end up in that situation. Well, Miss Sue, I'm not working for the county, so I don't care. Okay, let me tell you something. If you work for a nursing home or a hospital that is on emergency standby, they can send you into the field. They don't need your permission. If you're contracted with them, they can say, nurse, this is where you're going today. This is your assignment. And you're going to have to go. So you want to know how to do at least these calculations. You may never have to do it, and God bless you if you don't. But what about the time when you're a nursing supervisor, you've got that RN license, and you lose all power in that nursing home now? What are you going to tell the people under you? Because you're in charge. So, whatever, anything that goes down, even if somebody else under you does it, guess whose license it's going on? Because you're the big dog. You're the highest level of authority there. And that's just what you have to remember. You want to, look, I want to know my stuff. My boss will tell you, unless the house is burning down, I'm not calling. But I ask questions all the time because I want to know what's going on. If this happens, I want to know which way I need to jump. And it's better to know in advance. I find out that, I'm a Girl Scout. So I learned from being a Girl Scout that when I'm prepared, less stuff happens. But when I'm not prepared, every damn thing happens. The one day you don't go check that emergency equipment at the beginning of the shift before you hit the floor is the day you have that code. And you go to get the oxygen and you find out that the asshole that worked before you left you with an empty tank. Because that's what they do. And excuse my French, but that's exactly what they do. They don't care about you. Just like, you're saying they don't use the right equipment, they don't follow through. They do the same thing on the floor. And now here you are in a predicament because you didn't follow through. When I go into work, I have a set thing. As soon as I get in the door, what I'm going to do every day. Check that equipment. How's my staffing? What am I going to do if I have an emergency? So my code team's already mapped out on that staffing sheet. People already know if I call a code, this is where you better be. Because I don't want to be running under the unknown. It's too dangerous in nursing. You can't. And I like to do things the right way because every time that I don't follow the exact regiment, I swear it comes back to haunt me. Just simple, stupid stuff, not necessarily new nursing policies, but like one time I had a client that was suicidal. And, paperwork didn't get pushed through the way it should be, and staff let the client go to Wawa. Like, are you crazy? You don't put somebody in a van and take them out in the community when they're suicidal. You have no way to watch them in that environment. But I didn't follow through on my paperwork, and that fell back on me. It will fall back on you as the RN. I promise you it will. So keep your ducks in a row. Any other questions you guys need to do? All right, I'm going to end the session before I end up with the big D, and I don't mean Dallas.
Miss Loesch. Miss Loesch,
Yes.
you're gonna be teaching us management when we get there?
So probably I will still be doing some of the management and leadership. Yes.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Yeah, we need that. Thank you.
Yeah, I need that.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Sue. You're the best.
All right, y'all have a good Sunday.
Thank you.
You
and
too.
you
too.
So thanks.
All right,
Thank you.
Miss Sue. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You can throw it right in there.